I want to make sure I turn off the volume on that. I'm just getting used to just doing YouTube. Hi, good morning. It's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue, and I am so excited for today's project. I have been actually working on this project off and on for a couple of months, and now I feel like it's ready to show you. And there are lots of stuff to learn, lots of things to learn, and a lot of products that I'm using today that you might not have, or maybe you purchased some, but you don't know what to do with them. But today, primarily, I'm going to be using these things. They're called alcohol inks. You see that? And these are by Ranger. Now, you don't have to get the ones by Ranger. You can buy different ones, but these are kind of like what started the alcohol ink revolution. So I did go out and buy them all. I have so many of these, but I have just picked out a few of my favorite colors. One of the things that I will mention about these alcohol inks is that they also come in different styles. Some of them are pearl, so they'll say alcohol pearl ink, and some of them are like metals. So this one's copper. It's called a mixative. It's basically the same thing. We'll use it today too, and we'll talk about how you use these as well. Now, I am by no means an expert, but I have been working on this for a while. And these are simply 6x6 tiles that I picked up at the Home Depot. So here, very similar to the subway tiles we used yesterday. They're very inexpensive. They cost like less than 50 cents or about 50 cents for each. So it's a really fun project to play with, and you don't feel like you're spending a whole lot of money on it if you mess it up. Plus, there's ways to sort of undo things, and I'll show you that too. But I just want to give you a couple of examples of what I've done here. So this is pink with gold. This is orange with a little bit of gold. Look at this celestial one. Now, and this one is also similar, but it's more bluey, and it has silver on it. This is one of my favorites, and it is greens, and there's another blue. So you can see these are kind of colors that I favor. But the inks come in all different colors. So if you're more of like a neutral person, or you like primary colors, they come in those colors, and these just happen to be my favorites. Now, when I first started working with these, I thought, okay, what I'll do is I will set them with, like, I will protect them with a coating. And that's what I did on this one. However, when I did this, I didn't wait for it to be, for the inks to be dry. So what I did was I put the saying on there after the alcohol was dry to the touch, but it hadn't been a long time. And then I took the Krylon triple thick spray and sprayed over it. But I wanted to show you on this one, there is some bleeding that occurred here. So if you want to set these with like Krylon, what I would suggest is that you do the inks, let them dry completely, like overnight, and then you do the Krylon over it, and then wait, and then put your saying on there. Now you can do these in both iron-on and in vinyl. So I have both here for you. But one of the things that I noticed, first of all, white vinyl from Cricut is terrible to weed. It is so hard. I really think they need to change it so that it has a blue background on it, because it makes it incredibly hard to see what you're doing. And then you have to be very careful when you're dealing with some of these quotes, like this one here. It's just a beautiful quote, but there's so much you have to be careful of when you're weeding. And right here, I saw I messed it up because there's a letter that's missing. So that's why I kind of favored the iron-on bit a little bit better. So here it's easier to read than the, so where's this one? Oh, here we go. So this one here, it's just like, it came out really good. It's easy to read. I chose white because I think it looks really good on here. I suppose black would work, but I just think the white looks so much better on here. So let's get started, okay? So what you're going to need for this project is some sort of ceramic tile. This is ceramic tile. What you want to get is something that is not porous, because alcohol inks don't do well with porous materials. So for instance, regular paper or cardstock, no, you really can't use alcohol inks on that. But you can use it on this ceramic tile. There are some tiles that are more of a, like a, I don't know what this is called, but it's like more of like a non, I don't know what you call that, like on the back, but on the front, it creates sort of a place that all of your inks are going to just sort of pool up in here, and you will get better results. Don't go with the kind of stone that is porous. So you can kind of tell it's shiny, okay? You're going to need some alcohol inks in whatever colors you want. And there are some of my colors. Let me move you so you can see a little bit better. So some of my colors are here. And I have a few tools that I'm going to use. I'm using this 91% alcohol spray. Now they do make something, needs a slick surface, yeah. So they do make something from Ranger, but honest to God, I think this stuff works just as well. If you're working with this and you have a pretty manicure, you might want gloves. Although you can take off the alcohol ink that gets there. I've also used different kinds of brushes, but I really like this thing. It's like a sponge on a stick. I like this, and I use the brush for the final coat of the like the metals. Okay, so the other thing that you're going to want to do is to protect your surfaces. So here's my surface. This is just newspaper print. If you have newspaper at home, I buy this stuff because I use it to line my guinea pig cages in. I also have a little tiny bowl there that I'm going to use to wipe off my brushes. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to talk about is ironing on here, which I have not done, at least not in a while. So we're gonna take it start to finish so that you can see what we're doing. Let's talk about the alcohol inks first. So the alcohol inks really can stain your hands or your surfaces, and even like your iPad and stuff. So I want to move that out of the way, and I'm going to choose 3 different colors here. So as I said, you can use whatever colors you want, but I particularly like these sort of 3 together. Where is my pink? So these 3 that I'm using, this is Mermaid, Twilight, Purple Twilight, and Gumball. So these 3 are really fun colors. I would stick with 3. Don't go over 3. You could do 2 one is kind of boring, but you could do 3. And then when you're done, you can put the metallic on. So hold off on the metallic until after you got most of it done, okay? So I guess I'll be really by the book and put on my gloves if I can get them on. And again, you do not need to do this. However, be careful of clothing, because I don't know how to get that off of clothing. But on your hands, what are you chewing on? What are you chewing on? Oh, I don't know. This dog is very weird. Okay, so I got my thing on. I'm gonna just kind of cover up my watch, or maybe I'll take my watch off. That sounds better. Okay, so I take my watch off, and what I'm going to do is start with these 3 colors, as I mentioned. Just stick with 3 to start with. You'll get better, and then I'm just going to sort of drop them all around. So there is the bubble gum or gumball. And there's the purple twilight. And here is mermaid. So I'm just pushing them all around. I'm just dropping them all around. Notice it doesn't suck right in. That's what we're going to go for. And then I'm going to take this little spongy thing, and I'm just going to start sort of moving the ink around a little bit with my sponge. Like this. Now, the goal for me is to get all that white covered up. Okay. And now what I like to do, you could leave it at this if you want, but I kind of like doing this technique, and I've been doing it for a few of these. I'm going to take my spray alcohol, and I'm just going to spray a little bit on there, and look at how it gets really like dotted. But you can leave it like this if you want, but that's when I come in here with this sponge and sort of mix it around. Now, I think it looks really dark, so I think I might go for something a little bit lighter on here. So I might choose a little bit of pink sorbet. I think that might lighten it up a little bit. And pool. This is called pool because we have very little of the green here. Now, if you get to a place where you're like, I don't like this, it looks terrible, it's really cool what you can do. Let me show you. So if you're doing this and you're like, oh my God, Rita, I hate it, this is all you need to do. Get yourself a bit of paper towel, and then spray onto your tile, and then wipe it off. Isn't that great? So it's sort of like you could start over. And now I've done this before with some colors that I didn't like. I'm like, ugh, don't like those colors. I normally like yellow, but this one was kind of like a brownish yellow that I did, and I did not like it. So you can pretty much get it all off and start over. So let's start over, and we're going to use pink sherbet. This makes you feel like a artist, I think, because it's something unique and different. It comes out unique and different every time. And let's try this. Ooh, this is boysenberry. Don't need a lot of the darker colors. All right. So let me just pop these in here, get it all over. And then, okay, then again, I could leave it like this if I wanted to, but I'm going to just sort of pop in here and do this with this thing. Isn't that cool? Now, the cool thing about it is it dries really quickly because it's alcohol. It's made with alcohol. Alcohol, when exposed to the air, is going to dry. The other cool thing is that you can get this wet with water wet and it will not run. So you don't necessarily have to uh, what do you seal it. You don't need to seal it. But if you want, you can, play around with the alcohol and you can seal it if you want. But so here I am playing around with my alcohol and just sort of it exposes that white in the back, and I just love this. This is so much fun. This would be a fun project to do with a little, but maybe a little bit older, somebody who's a little bit older and could understand that this could stain, and you want to be aware of that. Now, once you got your thing to look kind of like the way that you want it to, you have to let it dry a little bit. But then we're going to come in with a mixative. So let's use the silver. Now, the silver or any of the metals, they do need to be mixed up a lot because they have a tendency to separate. So here is one that's separated, and you can see under here, that's like the alcohol, and there is sort of the I don't know what it is, the resin, the color. Maybe it's mica. I don't know. It might be mica. So we obviously don't want to do a ton of the alcohol in the metal. So what I'm going to do is just put a few drops in my little false craft dish, and then I'm going to take this is my brush that's kind of a little stiff, and I'm just going to go in and get it all sort of on there, and then I'm going to do this. See what I'm doing here? I want to get my brush really loaded on there, but you can see it's starting to do little stipples or little tiny drops, which I think is the best way to deal with the metal. You don't want it to be overly metallic, I guess. I mean, unless you want it to be, but for me, this works out the best. Is this fun? Do you love it? Ranger is part of Tim Holtz. I don't know what the relationship is there. Ranger Inc. is out of New Jersey. They have their own website. They have a few different artists that work with them. And one of them is Tim Holtz. So I don't know if he's the guy or not. But this is just, so much fun. And yeah, Tim Holtz is one of those guys that has worked with these and sort of introduced them to people. But now we have to wait for this to dry a little bit. So for us to get on to the next step, so I will just move this out. And I just let it dry, sort of sitting on this paper. Just take up this paper and let it dry somewhere where the wind can get at it, or the air, I guess. And then we'll start working on the next step. Isn't this great? So let's move this over for right now. And I could take off my gloves. All right. So how does Cricut work into this? Well, I, of course, started to think, how can I incorporate Cricut into this project? Because that's what I do. I do mostly Cricut crafts, right? So I figured, hey, let's cut out some very beautiful sayings. And honestly, I think that this could be something you could give as a gift, and it's just a little plaque. I mean, I suppose you can buy one of those little stands and put it on there. Maybe you can even do the smaller ones. It's up to you. But it's a beautiful sort of background for some Cricut. So yesterday when we did the plain old white tiles, think in terms of that, but using alcohol ink, we could do that. So I have all of these extra, and let's grab my iPad and go to, let's go to my project file called Encouraging Words for Tiles. So let's go to customize so you can see there are, whoops, what am I doing? Encouraging words, customize and replace. And you can see there are some really beautiful and very detailed, look at all the stars and everything here. I found these in Design Space. They are free if you are a Design Space, if you are an Access subscriber. You can just go to Images, and I think I typed in something like positive, like that, or I might have done positive phrases or whatever. And I started like looking here, and then I remembered, oh my gosh, there's a whole image set that has these positive words. So here, what I'm going to do is go back here and do this. I'm going to click on that triple dot under categories. I'm going to choose image sets, and then I'm going to go back, and then I'm in the image sets area. And the woman that does these really beautiful affirmations, her name is Sarah Hurley. So I'm just going to put in Sarah, and you can see here's all of Sarah Hurley's image sets. And they're great because they're detailed, but they're not more than one layer. So I think, trying to think which one I used. There's inspirational quotes. There's a lot here, and you can look through them. There's things for autumn, and there's things for Christmas, and there's things for faith, sarcastic ones, which is kind of funny when they're positive affirmations. There's family, miscellaneous. This one's even crafting. And let's see, do they have one about glitter? I was born with glitter in my veins. I love that. Let's do this one. Leave a little sparkle wherever you go, and be your own kind of beautiful. Let's add that into my Design Space canvas. Now you notice that these are all black. They're black because I want this to be one layer. I don't want to fuss with layers. So in this case, in this case, you see this be your own kind of beautiful. You'll see it's two different colors. Well, I don't want both colors. I don't want to fuss with layers. I'm already going to have a pretty unique looking surface. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go under here to combine, and then I'm going to weld. Okay. So now they all are the same color. All the different letters are the same color. Now, if you wanted to cut these out all together, I would also recommend that you color sync them all so that you can sync them all in with one color. So look here, this leave a little sparkle is actually a slightly different color than black. So if you went to make it and you saw that these two things were on different mats, that's why. So I'm going to just move this one up to here and this one up to here. Now they are all the same color, you see, and they're ready to cut out with whatever machine that you're going to use. Now, because these are 6 by 6, I used my Maker 3 and Smart Vinyl. Actually, I used Smart Iron-On in white. I didn't use glitter. I thought the white would look fine. So that you'd have to you know, make that adjustment here on your iPad. But you see here, it says project incompatible. That's because, hey, stop it. That's because I have my machine on my iPad set for Joy. So I need to go back here and change my machine selection to Explore 3 or Maker 3. And then I'll go back to the canvas. And now if I hit make it will allow me to make it. Okay. Now in this case, it's saying without mat, which is fine. I could cut this without the mat. I think I might want to resize some of these. So I want to go back here. Now I'm using a 6x6 tile. You might use a 4x4, whatever you'd like to do. But make sure that you have your images are within the 6x6. So I made this one 5.5 inches wide and 4.62 inches high. So that's going to be fine. So when I hit make it, I am going to want to come up here and mirror, because you have to mirror anything in iron-on. If you don't want to use the iron-on, you could not, you don't have to use the iron-on. I just prefer it on this project because I feel as if, okay, don't get all upset with me. I feel as if with all these details, it's so much easier to work with it. And I know some of you feel the same way. So you would go ahead and cut this all out. I'm going to save you the time on that. We're not going to cut them out. I'm just going to show you what I did cut out. So again, you could use your vinyl if you wanted to, like this one, but you've really got to be careful when you're working with something this, like look, see, it's already starting to peel, and I don't feel comfortable using regular vinyl with this, but I will use vinyl if I haven't. Yeah, I will show you how to use vinyl if you want to go that route. So I'm choosing a sign that is not as detailed as the other ones. Let's choose this one. And I'm going to take my transfer tape. And again, if you want to seal these, you can. You don't necessarily have to. I think if you were going to sell them or something, that you might want to seal them. Let's see. I should move this out of the way. There we go. But I honestly don't think it's really that necessary unless you feel like that these are going to come into contact with alcohol, because really the water will not like make it fade or come off, but alcohol will. And I can't find my little scraper, so I'm going to use the back of my scissors. All right. So there it is in the vinyl. Be careful when you're removing it that everything is coming off. And there's and there is a star that didn't come off. All right. But you see, it can be quite frustrating because if you don't have, and you don't take the time to do all of this, then you could have a problem. But we're going to work through it because you know what? Persistence is everything. And still having trouble with that D for some reason. Come on, D. D. There we go. There it is. Why? Why? Okay. And oh, my blood pressure is rising because I don't like that I'm having all these problems. It's going to resolve when I use the iron-on. Okay, but look, this D has to be fixed. It's causing problems. And it's in the way of the star. So, okay. And then we'll take our tile. Now this is really dry. I dried it overnight. And I am going to place it on here. And peel it off. And this is a one-of-a-kind gift that you can give to somebody that maybe you don't know what they would like. So I just love these positive affirmations. I don't love the vinyl, working with the vinyl here. I would rather work with the iron-on. So let's go ahead and switch over to the iron-on. There, I just want to fix that. Okay, so there is this one being done with the vinyl. Let's do the iron-on. So we're going to use the the Easy Press 3. I got to move this out of the way. It's not quite dry yet, so we'll have to use other ones. So here's my Easy Press 3. Got a lot going on here today. Pretty busy. So let's do this. Okay. Phew. Okay. All right. So here is my Easy Press 3. I'm going to turn it on. And I am going to go to the Heat app. There's the Cricut Heat app. Now I have it on and it's connected. So I'm going to choose Start New Project. The transfer material is just plain everyday iron-on. So I did use the smart version, so I guess I'll choose smart iron-on. And then as far as what it's going to get applied to, I just chose the densest material, and that is wood. Okay, now I'm understanding that it might take a little bit longer. So let's hit next and we will send these settings to my Easy Press just like that. And it is heating up. So it's telling me all these different, like what I should do and everything, which I kind of know already. So I don't have to necessarily watch that. I'm also going to put this here because I don't know, maybe it might ruin my pad. I don't know. So let's grab one of these and let's take one of these. I love this one. It says, and just like that, you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of beginnings. So I do notice that there are a few little pieces here that don't belong right here. And I also want to be mindful that I do have dogs and their hair is everywhere. So I'm just going to take and remove any hair, just like that, right? And then I'm going to place this where I want it. Again, I sized it about a 1/2 inch all around. So there's like a 1/2 inch all around here. And if you wanted to, but I don't think it's real necessary, you could use tape to tape it down. All right. So here we go. Now, the great thing about this Easy Press and this tile is it's going to go right over the whole thing. So we don't have to move it like we did with the subway tile, okay? So when it's heated up, we will let it go. It's not quite heated up. It's got like 10 more degrees to go. Could you choose coaster? I could choose coaster. The only thing we have to check that. Let's go back to checking it, okay? So it says to preheat. I'm actually going to skip the preheat, and I'm just hitting the green button so that it's done. And now I'm going to go to the 45 seconds. Let's go ahead and hit go. So yeah, I suppose I could choose coaster, but I wonder if I need to choose infusible ink in order to get coaster. So let's have a look at that when it's done, okay? Now, if you don't have the Easy Press 3 that has its own app, do make sure to check out the Cricut Heat Guide, which is free, available for everyone, and uses all the other different Easy Presses, including the Auto Press and the Mini. So let us just check that out. Let's go to Cricut Easy Press. Wait, Cricut Heat Press, Heat Guide. That's what it's called. All right, I'm going to lift it up and sort of have a look, but I can see it's not quite done over here, so I'm going to do it again. And while I'm doing that, I can just show you, this is the heat guide. So if you chose, let's say, Smart Iron On, and then you went down here to, there is no coaster down here, because apparently you're not supposed to use Smart. So what you'd have to do is change it to infusible ink, which that has kind of its own ways of doing things. So let's see, that's 400 degrees. Ours is at 300, and it's for 240 seconds. So I think it's sort of somewhere between the 300 and the 400, and maybe the time is maybe it's like a minute and a half. Let's see. Oh, good gracious. Nope. No, I just messed it up a little bit. No, I'm going to do just a little bit more. Maybe not the whole 45 seconds, but just enough, maybe half. Let's try that and see. And we probably want to cool it off. It is super hot, okay? It's super, super hot. And this seems like it's taking, but there are some pieces that maybe aren't done. All right, so let's see if I can't peel this off a little bit. It's peeling off. Maybe cooling it is a good idea. Yeah, I think cooling it would be a good idea. And I've got one little star over here that wasn't sticking, and I just pressed it down with my finger. How do you like that? Yep. And there it is. It's done. So, let's see. So here's the one I did with vinyl, which didn't involve any heat. So if you don't have an Easy Press, you don't have to do that. You can work with the vinyl. And this is the one, it's still hot, but this is the one I did with the Easy Press. Now, I see here, over here and over here, this S. Kind of not so good. I mean, if I had my little mini, could come in here and press it there, but I'm going to allow it to sort of sit and cool down. Okay, so that is it. Isn't it great? It's so beautiful. Let's try it again, okay? I did notice that around the corners here that some of the ink, I don't know if it's just, I don't know why, but some of the ink sort of has smeared. Now, I did not seal these, and I have the same thing up here. So I'm wondering if it's from just the friction of, not from the heat necessarily, but from the friction of moving around the tiles on top of each other. So let's do another one. This one's really pretty. So, believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable. Unstoppable. It's like that's my word. Unstoppable is my word for the year. I think I'm going to use it again. You know how there's like, I don't know what they call it, but every year my friends and I come up with a word that's going to be sort of our mantra. I forget what they call it, but this past year I chose unstoppable, and I have been unstoppable. But I'll tell you, I've had a lot of things that would make you feel like you want to stop. So I just keep going. All right, so let's see. Let's try this one, and we're gonna have to do it at least 2 times. We know. I'm not really pressing down too hard on it. Yeah, I could use. So yes, so someone's asking about the Krylon. So you can use Krylon. That's the brand name. Triple coat. It's called triple coat. I don't know what it means, like triple coat. It's shiny, okay? And if I were going to do triple coat, I would do my alcohol ink, let it dry completely, then cover it in the triple coat, let that dry completely, and then I could use the iron-on top of that. Now tomorrow, oh my God, this is just like an amazing week for me because I just love it when I can come up with new ways to do things. Tomorrow, we are going to use infusible ink on wood. And there is one trick. I'm going to show you what the trick is. Okay, but there's one trick that you're going to want to learn about using infusible ink with wood. It's so much fun. I can't wait to show you guys. I'm just so excited. And so tomorrow is our Friday, so we'll also be picking a winner. I'm gonna let it. Maybe I'll just do it again for another few seconds. I'm a little paranoid and I don't like to let things cool. But by the way, if you want to clean up after your alcohol ink, so like see here, I've got alcohol ink on this and I've got alcohol ink in my bowl, but don't worry, I haven't ruined it. Let's leave that for a second. I can just take and spray the alcohol in there. And where's my paper towel? Let's see. And it will clean right out. I need to put more, but I didn't want to ruin any of my stuff. So when it came time to cleaning off your hands or whatever, just use your alcohol. Now, there are different kinds of alcohol. 91% is more alcohol, okay? I think the kind that you usually find at the drugstore is like 80% or something. So you want to shoot for 91%. I did get this at Walgreens, okay? And it does remove the ink, the alcohol ink from here. So I'll I'll clean up my brush like this. And I'm letting this cool down. And I'm seeing it's not quite working. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, let me just do a couple more seconds. So as far as how long you have to do it, I suppose if you increased the temperature, but you could sort of fiddle with the infusible ink temperature, which is 400, which is really, really hot. This is 300, and I'm doing it for 45 seconds at a time. And I've already done it twice, and now I'm doing it like a third time. So let's hope that does it. It might. I don't know, Renee. Yes, you could turn these into coasters. Now remember, you don't have to worry about sealing it because the alcohol won't move. Oop, it's coming off. The alcohol won't move. And sealing is just kind of, I don't know, for your protection or something. I don't know. I think it's extra. And you can do it, but the reason why I'm not doing it here today is I can't find my bottle of triple thick, and it's expensive. I didn't want to go out and buy another bottle. Oh, look at this one. Oh my goodness. That is going to be my mantra. Believe in yourself, you will be unstoppable. Wonderful. So let's have a look at these that we did today. So we used, I'm going to turn this off. Let me move it out of the way so you can see what we did. So we used the Easy Press on some of these, and some of them we just used regular vinyl. And we did not, but you could seal them. Let me show you. This one here, I did seal, but I did not wait. I was impatient. I did not wait long enough. And you can see that the ink sort of smeared onto this. And that was not a good idea. So in this case, what I did was I didn't wait long enough. And then I put this on, and then I sprayed it. What I would suggest is that you do your alcohol ink, spray it if you want, but wait, and then give it time to dry, and then put it on, okay? So these are just also beautiful, aren't they? Does alcohol? Yes, it does. It does, and we've done things with alcohol ink and clear glass. Uh-oh. This is hot, and it's going to cause my work surface to get all bumpy. But yes, you can do this on glass. You can do it on anything that is not porous. So what does that mean? You know, porous means like there's holes. It's like your skin has pores. And so if it has holes, if it's not shiny, it will not work well. So regular paper will not work. But if you have coated paper, like photo paper, you can do it with this, okay? And so anything like glass, acrylic, you could do wood if you coat it with something. And that's what we're doing tomorrow. I gotta move this. It's gonna cause a problem under here. I just know it. So aren't these just beautiful? I just think they're so nice. I'm wondering if my friend Wendy would want to sell them in her shop, because they're very encouraging and completely doable, guys. And you don't have to go out and buy all these alcohol inks like I did. Look, I got so many alcohol inks. I have like 4 boxes of them, and I don't use nearly all of them. You can just go to the craft store and buy some alcohol inks. I will post a link from Amazon that you can go ahead and follow. And while we have a minute left, I just want to go to see my notifications and see, oh, there's Gail. Gail just shared a new project called Carol's 2 3/4 round ornament box, multi-lid styles included. And she also did Loretta's. Isn't this great? It's going to be so great to have everybody working in the community. Now, Leah, look here. I want to see if I get any more followers. I do. Nolene, Christina, Ahuva. Ahuva and Adeline. Everybody has such beautiful names. And all of these other people I'm already following. So tomorrow we'll pick a winner. If you want to be included in the prize giveaway, you need to be following me in the Cricut community. Okay. Now, as far as the January prize, which is going to be the Maker 3 with everything bundle and a learning plan of your choice, please be patient. Next week it will start. I'm actually going to run it just for a couple of weeks. I think it's probably easier to do that than to have to remind everybody, and you only have to get your name in once. So that will work. Tomorrow we're going to be working on, I don't see it here. Let me see if I go, where is it? I had this project that I was working on yesterday and with infusible ink, and I don't see it, so I can't show it to you. But the secret to using infusible ink, you're going to have to come tomorrow to find out. I have to put these little hooks in there so everybody can come. All right, everybody, that is it for today. Don't forget, to follow me in the Cricut community, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a thumbs up because it's really important and it helps me appear in the searches. I don't know how all that works. I don't know how YouTube's algorithm works, but I do know that the people that get the most attention, they get served up those videos more frequently, and hopefully people will come and see us. But if not, we're fine the way we are because we like our group, right? So yeah, I did get these tiles. Just as far as purchasing goes, these tiles came from Home Depot. They are simply 6x6 tiles that are ceramic and they have a coating on them. And then on the back, you could not use alcohol ink on the back, although you could put either felt footing or a whole bit of felt to make it a coaster for sure. And what else? They come in different sizes. They come in like a 4x4. And obviously we did subway tiles, so that was like 12x2. So go to your store and look for white ceramic tiles. You can find them in all the hardware stores, and they're usually in the back. And then as far as the alcohol inks, these are Ranger inks. However, you can find alcohol inks that are not Ranger brand. I don't know about them, but I do know that I've seen them, so you can find them. And then as far as all these little doohickey things go, I just sort of collected them over, the year. And you can clean them up with the alcohol, which is what this is, alcohol, 91% alcohol spray. That is going to do it for me for today. And you found it? Yay! Thank you, Penny. How are you, Penny? And let's see, this is why I watch old videos when you are off so I can still get, oh, thank you, Gail. I so appreciate it. All right, you guys, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. You could use a glue gun. Yeah, you surely could. We can try that too. So tomorrow we're working with infusible ink. So get your infusible ink rolls ready, and I'm going to show you how to use it on wood, because infusible ink generally needs to be on a like a polyester type of a background, and I found a little trick that's going to allow it to work, and I think you're gonna love it. So I hope you can come tomorrow at 9. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a lovely day. And yeah, keep crafting. Okay. Bye.